Welcome to Hero Villains. Thank you for always watching and supporting the channel. Who do you think will win in the battle, Nyx or Perpetua? Nyx, in Marvel Comics, is the goddess of night, who embodies the primordial darkness, an entity older than the gods of Olympus. Nyx's power was clearly demonstrated in the Avengers No Road Home, where she was capable of threatening the entire universe. Nyx controls eternal darkness, warps reality, controls minds, and can kill even high-level cosmic entities such as the Elder Gods. When she retrieves the three pieces of the primordial darkness, she becomes virtually invincible, challenging even the strongest heroes of Marvel. Perpetua is a transcendent entity in the DC Universe who created the DC Multiverse. She is the mother of the Monitor, the Anti-Monitor, and the World Forger. Perpetua's power goes beyond the ordinary. She can create or destroy universes at will. In the Dark Knight's death metal event, she is the main threat to the entire DC Multiverse, having defeated both the Justice League and the Gods. Before we dive into the analysis, please click the subscribe button, and remember to turn on notifications and click the bell icon. Thank you very much. Nyx is considered one of the most powerful entities in Greek mythology, and can be ranked among the three most powerful goddesses in the entire mythological system. However, it is worth noting that Nyx is not simply a normal god or goddess. She belongs to a group of ancient entities called the primordials, which are primordial beings that appeared at the beginning of the universe. Among the most powerful entities in Greek mythology, the three names that are often mentioned are Chaos, Nyx, and Aklis. Chaos is seen as the embodiment of primordial chaos, the source of all that exists. Nyx, the goddess of the night, is the embodiment of the eternal night and the mother of many entities that represent the terrifying aspects of the universe, such as death, fate, revenge, and sleep. Aklis, though less well known in popular culture, holds a special place. She is described as being older than the concept of being itself, and is the embodiment of sadness, pain, and the deathly mists that surrounds the coming of death. Nyx is an ancient strange deity, one of the first to appear. Together with her mate, Erebos, she gave birth to entities such as Hypnos Thanatos, Keros, Lyssa, Eueneroi, Eris, Apete, Oisis, Nemesis, Moros, Erinyes, and even Aether and Hemera. She appears mostly only in creation stories, then she steps back and does her thing, covering the earth with her dark cloak whenever the sun sets, and spends the rest of her time living in Tartarus with her husband and many children. She is not worshipped regularly, although she does have a cult, often in the context of Chthonic prophets. She is somewhat related to Orphism, but beyond that, she exists in the background with the rest of the protogenoi. She does not control mere darkness, but has the power to extinguish all light of creation, including the entire universe and all forms of existence. When we speak of creation, we are not limited to a single universe, but to the entirety of reality, from parallel dimensions to metaphysical concepts. This means that Nyx can affect the omniverse. Nyx's power extends beyond the normal limits of reality, to the point that she can threaten the stability of the entire universe and even reach the far shore, a metaphysical boundary that exists outside of space-time. The far shore is considered the end of all concepts of existence, and the fact that an entity can reach it shows a stature beyond the understanding of any god. Not only that, Nyx can also withstand the light emitted from the House of Ideas, which is considered the purest source of all creative thought, something that most other entities cannot withstand. Nyx demonstrates her power overwhelmingly. She easily defeats characters with great power such as Wanda Maximoff and Hercules, who are considered symbols of power in the Marvel Universe. Moreover, Nyx and her descendants destroyed the entire Olympus, demonstrating their absolute superiority over the gods who resided there. Most importantly, Nyx cannot be destroyed. Immortality is not merely a biological or magical trait of hers, but the very essence of darkness itself. While gods can die, dissolve, or be replaced, Nyx exists beyond the cycle of life and death. No one can kill darkness because darkness is not a living thing. It is an indispensable part of the essence of the universe. Nyx is considered one of the most ancient and powerful entities, even existing before the generation of Titans and Olympians. Among the children born to Nyx are such fundamental concepts as Thanatos, the embodiment of painless death; Moros, representing fate and inevitable end; Hypnos, the goddess of sleep; Nemesis, the goddess of vengeance, and Eris, the goddess of discord. These entities are not only symbols, but also supernatural forces that govern the entire universe and human life. Nyx possesses powers beyond the control of modern gods. Her power is tied to the nature of the universe, not subject to the influence of time, law, or any other supernatural entity. Because of her antiquity and overwhelming authority, even Zeus, the supreme god of Olympus and the one who controls the current universe, must be wary of Nyx. Zeus, although revered as the most powerful god in the Greek pantheon because he rules the sky, thunder, and is the one who establishes order for the entire world after the war with the Titans, still does not dare to directly confront Nyx. His power symbolizes the supreme power in the current order, like a ruler holding the highest political power in a kingdom. All the other gods, no matter how powerful, were still subject to his rule in the established world. However, Zeus's power was limited. He ruled over the new order, but could not interfere with primal forces like Nyx, for these were foundations that had existed since before the world was formed. Nyx's existence is a reminder that no matter how powerful she may be in the present, there are always primal forces beyond the control of any one god. And Nyx occupies an interesting place in this cosmic hierarchy. She is not the lord of the universe, but she once was. In Orphism, there are 6 lords of the universe in succession, starting with Phanes and ending with Dionysus. Zeus is the 5th and current lord of the universe, and Nyx is the 2nd. She ruled the universe when it was new and peacefully abdicated to Uranus, passing the torch to him just as Phanes had passed it to her. Only Kronos and Zeus took it by force. She has nurtured and raised many other gods, including Kronos. When Zeus became lord of the universe, he went to Nyx to ask her advice on how to rule, and Nyx showed him how to properly arrange the universe. If Zeus is the king, then Nyx is the Old Mother Queen, who was once the most powerful woman in the land, but has retired to a villa to drink tea and give wise advice. The old queen is not necessarily more powerful than the young king at this point, because she has long since relinquished power, but she is still highly respected. Why is Zeus afraid of angering Nyx? People seem to take this as evidence that Nyx would destroy Zeus if he angered her, but the truth is, we don't know if Nyx is capable of doing so. The only protagonist who attacks Zeus, and the only one who is truly relevant outside of the creation myths, is Gaia, the earth and grandmother of the Olympians. She was angry at Zeus for imprisoning her sons, the Titans, in Tartarus, but the only thing she could really do to him was give birth to powerful monsters and let them wage war against the gods on Mount Olympus. Zeus managed to defeat every wave of Gaia's children, so after a while she stopped trying. Perhaps Nyx could send her own terrifying children to overthrow Zeus, but while her children are necessary aspects of existence, my personal interpretation is that Nyx would disrupt the day-Simite cycle, like creating eternal night over Greece or something, which wouldn't directly harm Zeus, but would be a huge headache for him. Causing eternal night would be something Nyx could actually do, and certainly something Zeus wouldn't want to happen. We know from the case of Sarpedon's death, also from the Iliad, that Zeus was wary of doing anything that might upset the order of the universe and risk undermining his own authority. The eternal night would certainly have undermined Zeus's authority and angered all the other gods. Zeus banished her for waging war against him, but when night fell across the world after the earth temporarily left its orbit around the sun, she regained her power and returned. Her return brought a darkness so deep that it swallowed up the daylight in the universe and even the stars. In short, it was like tearing the skin of the universe apart. Subscribe to the channel, it helps us a lot, and moreover, you will get to see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. Perpetua is one of the most powerful beings to have ever appeared in the DC universe, originating from the 6th dimension, a realm of existence that is considered inaccessible by any conventional logic. With all her power, she not only controls reality, but also directly creates the entire multiverse. Perpetua has the ability to manipulate reality on a cosmic or multiversal level, depending on her power level at the given time. Even when weakened, she is still capable of disrupting or destroying dimensions, reshaping reality according to her personal will. The Justice League once faced her in an extremely fierce and nearly unwinnable conflict. Perpetua possesses superior strength, superhuman reflexes, extraordinary endurance, and durability beyond all standards. She has demonstrated the ability to hurl a planet at speeds faster than light, which shows that she is not only powerful in intellect and magic, but also a machine of destruction. In addition, she can teleport not only within a small area of space, but also between different dimensions in the entire multiverse without any limitations. Perpetua's existence is a testament to the concept of absolute power in the universe, where space, time, and even the principles of physics can be bent under the will of a single individual. From the very beginning of the DC Universe, Perpetua was one of the first entities to create the multiverse within the Omniverse structure, a hyperdimensional space where countless multiverses coexist. Her power does not come from within herself, but is directly linked to the Source, a supreme being that serves as the energy foundation and primordial essence of all existence in the world. Through her connection to the Source, Perpetua has the ability to create, operate, and separate infinitely many separate universes, thus forming a vast, complex, and ever-evolving multiverse. Perpetua's original purpose was to seed life in the Omniverse. She was sent as a creative force with the ability to shape the physical principles, dimensions, and sentient species. In fact, it was Perpetua who created the current multiverse. Imagine a power capable of creating billions of universes, each containing thousands of galaxies and countless lives, all under the control of a single will. This ability reflects not only the power of creation, but also the omniscience of how the world works, from matter to spirit, from energy to essence. However, Perpetua's limits can be established at the boundary of the Source Wall, the cosmic wall that separates reality from the Source. However, the fact that she cannot cross this boundary does not diminish her stature or the danger she brings. She remains one of the most powerful beings on record, with the ability to hold and manipulate the very essence of creation in the palm of her hand. Perpetua is not only a creator in DC's Omniverse, but also the mother of three cosmic beings of immense influence. Alpheus, known as the World Forger, Mobius, also known as the Anti-Monitor, and Mar-Novu, who serves as the Monitor. Each of her children plays a vital role in monitoring, maintaining, or reshaping the fabric of the multiverse. Mobius, also known as the Anti-Monitor, is one of the most powerful villains, having gone toe-to-toe with Darkseid, a cosmic war god of darkness, in battles of cosmic proportions. The Anti-Monitor was the one who initiated the crisis on Infinite Earths, one of the most pivotal events when he deliberately destroyed a series of universes and compressed the entire multiverse into a single universe. Alpheus, or World Forger, was tasked with forging new universes based on the potential for future development. He once claimed that he had created a multiverse model of his own with the purpose of replacing the current structure. However, this plan could not be completed due to the intervention of Superman, the representative of hope and free choice in the main timeline. However, Alpheus is still a cosmic entity who can manipulate time and reality at will. One of Alpheus's most important creations is hypertime, a super time structure consisting of countless parallel and branching timelines, reflecting infinite possibilities, choices, and variations. Hypertime is not only a space that contains alternate events, but also a platform that expands the depth of the entire multiverse. Alpheus possesses powers that far surpass many superheroes, including Superman, who can lift the weight of the Earth for 5 days without breaking a sweat, and who can shake the Phantom Zone. However, compared to the World Forger, Superman seems to be just a warrior in the eyes of a god. In a memorable moment, Alpheus stops Superman's punch with just one finger, showing the huge difference in level of existence and power between these two entities. The scale of Perpetua's power is on a level that very few entities in the DC Universe can match. The ability to create a multiverse means a system that includes countless parallel universes. Perpetua is one of the most ancient and powerful beings to have existed in all of history. While there are many other entities in the universe that possess the power to create multiverses, few possess the depth of influence and control that she does. The race to which Perpetua belongs is called the Hands, extra-dimensional beings who have the ability to create and destroy multiverses in cycles. These entities operate on an infinite scale, creating new cycles of reality and then destroying them as part of the universal laws of existence. Perpetua has in the past been described as having power over higher dimensions such as Heaven, Hell, and the entire DC system of divine realms, including powerful entities such as Zariel, Etrigan, and Neron. Perpetua's power is best described as the battle between her and the Batman who laughs, also known as the Dark Knight, when the two faced off in a battle that was powerful enough to destroy the entire multiverse. Notably, Mike Zepetlik, a being from the 5th dimension, famous for his ability to bend reality with his mind, indirectly admitted that beings from the 6th dimension, including Perpetua and her 3 children, possess powers far beyond his own. In other words, if Mixes is considered a cosmic threat, then Perpetua is a threat to the entire fabric of the multiverse and everything beyond it. This is enough to prove that Perpetua is only multiversal when she is amplified, but her base power is generally multiversal at its best. She needs to store enough energy to reach greater power levels, like the Anti-Monitor. Overall, Perpetua is very powerful, there is no doubt about it. The cosmos shook violently as 2 divine entities faced each other. Both Nyx and Perpetua are the embodiment of power. Nyx, the goddess of the primordial night, calls upon the power of darkness that existed before the birth of light, a primordial, dark reality that has never been governed by the laws of space or time. The darkness she commands is not simply the absence of light, but a living, ancient, and unruly force that can erase order, wash away light, and collapse the layers of reality. Perpetua calls upon the foundational matter from which the entire multiverse was created. This energy is not only a building block, but also a representation of absolute power, capable of reshaping space, time, and the very laws of existence. When Perpetua calls upon her power, the entire fabric of reality is warped, the laws of physics are thrown into chaos, and space becomes as fragile as shattering glass. Each attack the 2 goddesses unleashed not only had destructive power beyond the cosmic level, but also created dangerous side effects on parallel timelines. Time rifts appear, affecting other realities as if a chain reaction is taking place on a global scale. A mere collision of these 2 forces can disrupt the stability of other dimensions, causing the mass destruction of universes not directly involved in the battle. Time becomes distorted, stretched like a river torn from its natural course. All principles of order in reality begin to crumble. Versions of Superman, Thor, Wonder Woman, and Doctor Strange from different timelines and dimensions are drawn into the center of the conflict, like tiny chess pieces drawn into a cosmic game they cannot control. Though they are all the most powerful beings in their own universes, they are completely powerless against the cosmic scale of this confrontation. Nyx, the goddess of eternal darkness, summons one of her ultimate abilities, the Nightshade Core, from a primordial dark energy that has no beginning and no end. This darkness not only swallows light, but also negates the existence of any physical structure or cognitive concept. She seals the 3 basic spatial dimensions, locking space, unable to expand or contract, trapping everything in a state of suspended, unchanging limbo. In response, Perpetua, the embodiment of metaphysical creation, summons the primal energy known as Omega Genesis. This is a stream of energy capable of restructuring all of reality to its most primitive form. When no laws existed, no life or death, no concepts of time or space, once again the boundaries of life are bent, and when the 2 energies collide, the entire multiverse falls into a state of stasis. Space became so quiet that every vibration of matter seemed to stop. A deathly silence spread throughout the layers of the cosmos, causing every living thing to feel a shudder at the core of reality. All life, from gods to mortals, felt a terrible pressure weighing down on their souls, as if all existence was awaiting a final judgment. In that fateful moment, Nyx performed an act that surpassed all limits of perception, by summoning the entire primordial essence of darkness. As Nyx's darkness embraced that energy, Perpetua could not resist the law of absolute negation. She gradually disintegrated, leaving no trace in the physical or metaphysical structure. Perpetua's disappearance was not simply a death. It was an erasure from all forms of existence with no memory, no echo, no possibility of recovery. She was returned to a state of non-existence as if she had never been born in the history of the universe. However, the absorption of a force so great that it surpassed the boundaries of creation turned her into an entity that could not be defined. As a result, even the highest cosmic forces had to agree to seal Nyx into a separate layer of reality, where her existence could not affect the main structure of the universe. Even though she was sealed, the name Nyx still echoed in the layers of reality as the ultimate symbol of destruction and mystery. No one knew if she would return, but everyone understood that if that happened, the balance of the universe would once again be threatened. In the end, Nyx was the winner. Hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much.